now I'm going to show you what I like to put on it while it's actually grilling. So I would generally like to start with some parsley right at the bottom. I'm a big believer on touch and feel, so if it looks good and if it looks fine to me, that's my measurement. That's my code of measurement that I go with. So, and then going from there, we're going to add a little bit of tarragon. Yum. Got it from Fresh and Easy when they were still open. Now they're closed. Great place. Just a couple dabs. Not very much because it does have a little bit of a potency to it. Then I'll add some garlic powder, and I am a huge fan of garlic. I always suggest people to use it because it just has some natural good flavors to it, and it's also really good for you. I also got this at Fresh and Easy, but you can get it anywhere. And now we're going to go to some basil. Generally, I'll be honest, I really prefer fresh ingredients, but since I'm kind of limited to what I'm limited to, I'm just going to use that. So as you can tell, I have the mixtures all ready to go. Now, here's where I kind of get really creative, and you can really do a little bit of everything if you wanted to. I always go by smell, and my smell generally will tell me how my meat is going to taste, especially after I marinate it. So I'm going to add hickory bacon mustard, and this smells divine. Not gonna lie. It literally smells like hickory bacon. And so could you just imagine a tri-tip that smells like bacon? What can be better than bacon? Nothing. So just a couple little dribbles, not a lot, you know, whatever you want. All right. So then the next thing we're going to add is some Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. Did I say it right? Worcestershire. Why can't I get this? I'm going to tell you a little story when I was a kid. I was born tongue-tied, so I can't say this, but you know what it is. It's right there, in case you can't read. So, again, a couple dabs. You can do it to flavoring. Some people like to put a lot in. Whatever. Get comfortable. Get creative. Do whatever you want to. My favorite is obviously the private stock of the finest, and that's Masterpiece. Duh. It's pretty good. Then I just squeeze a whole bunch into it. Right? Do that. Either way, I think it's going to come out super good. Now I'm just going to get my whisk. I'm going to mix it. What I like to do is add a little water because as you can tell, the consistency is still a little thick. I don't really like to add too much more of the Worcestershire. Whatever. Anyway, I don't like to add too much of that just because then it's going to give me like an overly salty flavor. So you see how that's kind of thick? It's a little too thick for me. I really want it to layer my tri-tip really well. So, and when it's coating it, it looks so nice and it just attaches so well. There's really a science to barbecuing. And I'm not a professional, but I've definitely gotten a lot better than some of my peers and even my family members. Yeah, I'm jabbing. I am. I'm calling you out, feller. I'm calling you out, Eric, Wallow, all you guys. I'm way better than you. I am. So anyways, so when the consistency gets to, let's see, just a little more water. So if you can take a look, right about there, then that's about where you want to be. Right? Because then it's going to layer and coat really, really well on your tri-tip. It's going to look pretty good. And that's it. So now the meat has marinated for about 24 hours in the butt rub. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the grill. So the best way that I prepared the grill was to warm it up at its hottest temperature. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to finally lay the meat on the grill. Right? Just as such. Wow. Pretty good. And so now, I'm going to go ahead and take the base that I have here and just baste it a little bit. Right? So, give it a little swirl. It's been sitting in the fridge for a little while as well. I'm going to baste my layering. So while I'm basting it, I'm going to make sure I try to get as much coverage as possible, just so that the flavor does not just stick to one side, but it really travels around the meat really well. It's going to cook, especially that fatty area. You might want to baste a little of that fatty area too, because the fat's going to soak up all that flavor. So when you're chewing on a nice burnt piece, guess what? It's going to taste pretty darn good. Really good. So now that I've finished basting it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my fire at its lowest. Okay? Keep it at the lowest. Then that way it can have a nice simmer and cook the meat evenly all the way through. I'm going to come back. I'm going to check it in about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to flip it again. All right? I can't wait to try it. Evina here from Team Pro Fight, also known as Pro Fight Supplements and Sports. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to season a really good tri-tip, especially doing it the right way. There's a couple different steps, so just follow along with me. I'm going to go ahead and get my